Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's been about a few hours since I last dropped a video. I had to take Sunday off and really wanted to talk about something on Sunday though, but you guys have advised me to take it a little bit easy, and I'm sure that I actually do, because it was a very fun weekend. Had to work on a project with family members, and it put me in pain, because it was some physical work. But so far, so good. Batman and Arkham games are very interesting topics to continue to discuss, and I appreciate you guys for engaging me in these discussions. And today I wanted to talk about, the news that Warner Brothers Games has patented the Nemesis System. And I also want to mention why I believe that this system should never come close to any Batman game. Now, I know there are people who actually want for this system to come to, some Batman game of some sort, but I also want to go ahead and just say, I think the innovation of the Nemesis system, as cool as it may have sounded, is good for specific kinds of games. Hence, the Middle-earth games really do fit with that system, if you get what I mean. I mean, if you think about the story, the lore of the game, it is definitely fitting that, some ranger who is somewhat brought back, to, in quote, life-ishness, where his life force is fused with some elf called Celebrimbor, and they're back, working hand to hand in order to take down, the bad guys. So that makes sense, because your protagonists in plural do get the chance to be able to show up back and take on their enemies. So I see it as a very viable system. In fact, a necessary system in the way that they created it. So when the talk about it coming to the Batman games show up, the only thing that I say is I don't think it's fitting. Now, I guess I'll try my best in this video to, basically hypothesize why I think that Warner Brothers Games went ahead and, patented this particular system. I think there are two reasons. Number one, they want to make another game that will have that system going. I don't know which studio may be working on something. Perhaps, there's another Middle-earth game in the works. Middle-earth games have always done well. They have a very good community with them. I own both. I haven't beaten anyone. And to be very frank, I think the Nemesis system kind of like wore me out, because I just kept getting a little tired of seeing that Uruk or Orc that I beat, and then them just showing back up, and now they're promoted because, I'm now level 70. So guess what? I took this guy out when I was level 10. Now he's now level 70. I'm just joking. I'm not level 70, but you get what I mean. That system kind of has got me in the place where it's like, so when am I going to be able to kind of like own Mordor? Maybe there's a lot more work for me to do, and I'm not necessarily willing to do it, especially when Arkham Asylum is still on my plate to beat. I'm a Batman fan that hasn't beaten Arkham Asylum. Shame on me if I spend more time playing Shadow of Mordor rather than actually fulfilling that obligation to actually, in a sense, establish the full extent of my fandom. But then the second reason that I think is they probably have gotten wind of perhaps a major video game franchise that may be coming from a competitor or potential competitor that is trying to leverage that system. And they've tried for years to constantly try a way to make it very difficult so that those or whoever's making that game does not, take their work and use it, because that provides that other team with a competitive advantage. Now, I would be sad, though, if it was, say, perhaps an indie development studio that was trying to use that system that may now have received the shaft in that sense. But at the end of the day, this is one thing that really does drive innovation, and also does drive, the need for people to continue to invent, and the need for people to continue to bring new and, beautiful things to the table every time. And so these are the two reasons that I see. But then nonetheless, you have to also kind of think about, the concerns of people saying, oh, this seems to be a little unfair. It seems like Warner Brothers Games is taking this step, and it may be bad and detrimental for the gaming industry. Now, to that I say, well, we don't know the extent of what this system is, because this system has basically only been featured in a few games, and not many games are really interested in actually leveraging this system. There's a way to do things, and it's basically based on an old school way of telling and having, your audience enjoy an experience, and that's by good storytelling. A Nemesis system doesn't make for a good story in a game. There are many other things that do, and those things are not and cannot be patented, because those will be ridiculous if somebody tried to patent storytelling per se. And so I think these things are much more important, and these are things that we most likely need to be focusing on when other games are coming to the plate. A Nemesis system, to me, I just think it's Warner Brothers trying to, find a way to keep something that they feel belongs to them. And it's something that they've actually been trying to get for a long time, because one thing about patents with big corporations is there'll be people who kind of fight, here and there. So we don't necessarily even know the full story. It may truly be a terrible thing. It may be a circumstance that we're probably not aware of, that we probably most likely wouldn't support. So I want to also leave room for the possibility that this move that Warner Brothers is making may not be the best move. So I think these are the two possible scenarios: that they want to use it to make a game for themselves, or somebody else is trying to make a game and they will have a competitive advantage if they use that system, and Warner Brothers Games wants to also leverage for it and actually get some change from the system. But as someone who's learning to develop video games in my own little space over here, just me and just learning tutorials on YouTube here and there, I don't think I'll be envious of making a Nemesis system from just what I've learned about developing video games so far. It's a very complex system to actually put in place. It's not necessarily the easiest to accomplish, but big studios are also able to replicate things like that, and you can always tell your story to be able to find a way to sidestep even using something like that. This is not me saying something that's a novelle. If you tell a good story, you can say whatever you want in your story and implement it in your video game however you want. It's just that the way the Nemesis system has been designed for the hierarchical things, you will have to find an innovative way to still get things done. And I think this is going to, provide room for people to be able to tell better stories and even not need the system. And the system will most likely just be one of those patents that dies in obscurity. And that's exactly what needs to happen from the storytelling perspective. Many other studios can do a good job still telling good stories and not worry about something like that. So, these are my thoughts. This is my take, and I'm hoping that we will never see this system show up in a Batman game, because I don't believe it's fitting. But, people may feel otherwise. And, if you think, otherwise, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know why you think a Batman game will benefit from a system such as this. I'm curious. I want to know. I've seen a lot of comments to that effect here on the channel and even in other forums, and I really want to know, why. I mean, you guys may be onto something that I don't know, and, feel free, be willing to teach me something. I'm always happy to learn. So thank you very much for your time and audience. I appreciate you guys so much. Hopefully we'll talk in another one. Peace out.